Brett Hornby here, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, and welcome back to another vlogging on the go video. And decided to go back to my old high school, Crescent Heights High School, right here in Calgary, just off of Center Street and just south of 16th Avenue, and definitely reminiscing at the old high school, as it's been 20 years since I graduated from here back in 2001. And you can see the famous front door, or front entrance of the Crescent Heights High School, of the original building. And I'll walk up to the front door here and show you a plaque that the Crescent Heights High School here in Calgary first was established in 1915, but this particular building, according to that plaque, was actually constructed in 1928. And the Balmoral school, which is nearby, which I'll walk by there later in the video, but here's this plaque. It talks about the Crescent Heights Collegiate Institute was first established at King George School in 1913 as a branch of the Central Collegiate. The King George School actually is near where I live in Capitol Hill right now. And it says, after being located at two other Calgary schools, the institute was moved to the Balmoral Elementary School in 1915, which is not too far from here, until 1929, renamed Crescent Heights High School around 1918. The collegiate Gothic style building, designed by the Calgary Public School Board architect William Brandon, was constructed in 1928. So this is the building we're looking at right now, and was the school's first permanent location. Began in 1949, a number of red brick additions were made to the original structure. Along the Crescent Heights distinguished teaching staff were William Eberhardt, school principal from 1915 till 1935. Election as Alberta's first social credit premier, and Dr. Don Laurie, Secretary of Indian Affairs from Alberta, 1944 to 1959. So this was constructed in 1999, actually my first full year in high school. As I started coming here September 1998, graduated in 2001, and actually I took the option to do some upgrading and came back for a semester in 2001 in the fall, before I went to SAIT, because I knew I wanted to go to SAIT, and wasn't quite sure what to do. But yeah, I can see this is the best view I can get looking inside. And yeah, I do remember these doors and that atrium. I mean, that painting is obviously new, and different desks and chairs, but I've seen videos that showing the inside of school that there is some parts that looks pretty much the same. And I just recently walked around, and I'll do a walk around, but this is the view looking out, going towards Center Street, because this is First Street Northwest, where the Crescent Heights School is located. But it's interesting, that Gothic style, because when I first looked at, speaking of SAIT, which is where I went after going to high school, that the Heritage Hall that you see at SAIT, it kind of first reminded me of that when I first went to Heritage Hall. It had that same architectural style, but this was built back in 1928, and you know, if you walk around here, you can see the kind of a little amphitheater. But I know that there's many parts of the schools that mention on that plaque that was constructed throughout the years. And I know that 1984-85, there was other parts of the school that was added on, because I mean, I graduated from here 2001, but many parts of my family, you know, uncles, aunts, and my parents obviously all graduated from here in the, you know, late 1970s. I know this part of the school is not here, because this part you can see was constructed in the 1980s. And obviously I can't go inside right now and just walk around and reminisce in the hallways, but I'm just gonna walk around and just see that this is the newer part of the school, touring towards the staff parking lots that you see. And there's that student center there, but you can see, and if you walk around the school, it's obvious that you get different parts of the areas. But I'm going to go to this corner here, and I'll meet you somewhere else in the school. But this is the newer parts of the school from the mid-1980s. So I'll take a walk around and get different perspectives of the school. Well, I'm back to the west side of the school, facing west, kind of the back way. But you could see this part stands out, where you could see. Still remember that brick wall with the red brick with that blue, and you can see that C right there. And there's another amphitheater outside on this side of the high school. I definitely remember that from my days going here back from 1998 till 2001. Just walk around and you can see a practice field where the football team practices. And I know around this part of the school, this is where you see kind of the art. I remember having a few art classes in this part of the school, and I know that the part for is in the front. That's where you see, the home ec areas. I remember having homeroom in that area, but you can see around here, that's where you got the baseball diamonds, and eventually walk around. This is the student parking lot, where the students parked if you had a car. But I got bused to school through public transit. It's interesting that this actually was my designated feeder school. I do remember wanting to come here for high school back in the day just because of family reasons. I mean, my parents graduated from here and various other family members from back in the day. But where I grew up in Harbor Park, I mean, I was closer to Forest Lawn. Ooh, the ghetto, as they say. But I was closest to Lester B. Pearson High School near Village Square. But given that I lived just south of 16th Avenue, I had to come here. But I still wanted to come here anyway, just because of, as they say, family reasons. But I also remember, classes here for broadcasting, and I think there was second languages and all that. This is another area where you can come in on that end. I know I try to share pictures where I can, but what I found funny on this end of the school is that I remember when I was going there, and I didn't see a sign when I took a picture when I peeked in, because you kind of got back at the student center. But there used to always be a no loitering sign there, and yet the first thing you see is a bunch of people loitering, especially different groups of people. But that's other memories I have of here, of this part of the high school. I know I have many gym classes. You can see better here. There's the community center, and then right beside there is the curling club. But this is the kind of the back part of the Crescent Heights High School. As I said, student parking lot. I remember over art classes, I can see some interesting paintings on the window that I'll capture pictures of. But what do you think of this? The back part of Crescent Heights High School, as you can kind of see, some of the old vintage. I don't remember, or don't know exactly if this is all part of the original school. I know in that front part that I was walking after I was at the front door, it was built in 1985, but when you walk through these halls, it's definitely obvious where the vintage parts are and the newer parts are. The newer parts, I remember that's where all the science class was, and I think the library that's still there, and still the same, because I've seen videos that looks the same library when I was going to school. I think the library's in the new part, but you can see the brick wall of the original. So I'm just going to walk around, capture some more pictures, and work my way back around the school, and eventually I think I'll take some other parts of Center Street along Crescent Heights that I remember that's still around when I was going here over 20 years ago. Man, I'm getting old. It's just now with COVID, just so working on the physical part of the reunion. But at least this, appropriate for me to do a vlog on the 20th year of my graduation. Well, I'm standing in the student parking lots. This is whereabouts I remember art class was, or when I was going to school. I'm assuming the art class is still here. You can see remnants of that by looking at these interesting paintings. As you can see, everyone was probably looks like it's been there for a while because some of it looks dated. One was representing 2010, which that's over 11 and a half years ago. But pan around, you can still see this part of the school. Of course, there had to be another Battle of Alberta, but when I looked into the entrance right there, which where the no loitering sign used to be, I also know that when I was going to school there, that the student medicine office was right there, but I just saw a mural. You might have seen it if I caught a picture. I mean, I was just looking through the door, just capturing the picture, what I see right there. I actually saw Crescent Heights history, and it said something about mural courtesy of the class in the 1960s, but that mural was not there. That showed the history of the school. I definitely would love to be in there and see that and share that, but maybe that's be another time. I know that, as I say, Crescent Heights was established and get to see a better view of the community center and the curling club in the student parking lot. I'm also going to walk towards, there was another painting that I saw on a window here, because I do remember taking some art classes here, and this is where art was at the time when I was going to school. I mean, could be different now. I mean, it's been 20 years, but, and also, you know, graphics class. I know that on the other side, which I'll get to shortly in another video clip, there was an automotive class, and I see that part has changed where the plus 15 is, where it connects different parts of the school. I know Crescent Heights has 3 stories, but you see 3 stories there, and then on the new part in 1985 part also has 3 stories, but they're not connected. So that's how I also remember from this school. You can see, not quite sure exactly what that is supposed to be, but it looks like these paintings that you see on the wall, or I should say the windows, I meant to say. It's been there for a while, and so is this whole school. It's also been here for a while, and you can see remnants of that walking in the neighborhood. That you see a lot of older homes, similar to where I live now in Capitol Hill, where you see older homes that are still there when the school was constructed, and then you see others that were built down, knocked down to build a 3-story house for over $1.5 million. Sign of the times now when you're seeing $1.5 million homes like it's the back of your hand. When I'm thinking back when I was growing up, you've got $1 million home, it's an extra nice home. But that's another story. But just reminiscing of this back part of the high school where the art classes are, and you know, this is where, you know, sometimes went out here for a gym class. You know, the football team might train here. And I remember when I was going to high school, the senior boys in 1999, unfortunately we did lose in the city finals to William Neighbourhood, that would say is our biggest rival, home of the Cowboys, Crescent Cowboys. The William Neighbourhood are the Trojans. And it's interesting, if you remember at the start of the video, the first principal of the school was William Neighbourhood, as I meant to say. But is what it is. I didn't play any sports myself, or didn't catch many games, because much of the time when I was here in school, that's when I was working at the movie dome at the Pacific Place for much of my life. I was learning flyers and then worked the movie dome. So I did work, I had a part-time job while I was going to school. So I think this will conclude this part of the school. I still have more to come, and still want to look more at Crescent Heights and the neighborhood in general. So I'll see you. I'm back. This is the part of the school that's facing north towards 16th Avenue. There's a car going by, but interesting, the car is going by. I know this part of the school, well, this is all new in terms of all caged off, and do remember that plus 15, but I know being bused to school that this is where we usually get off on the bus and come into those doors. And I remember all this area right here used to be open when I was going to school. See, it's all closed off, but this is, I know, where the automotive classes are. You can kind of see the bays right there. I mean, I remember walking up and down through this plus 15 many times, and having a few classes just over in this wing. But the one thing that stuck out, that you can kind of see at top of the school that you see in their older schools. I'm not quite sure if I think that was there when I was going to school, but you could see those doors towards the end. That's that side door to that main student center where I kind of peeked in at the first part. I mean, there's other parts of the doors I try to peek in, but yeah, these are the doors I remember coming in, getting off the bus, with all this and the cage and a couple buses with the Crescent Heights High School on the side there we're taking a picture of. That's fairly new, because I do remember a few times when I went on a field trip that we had like a school bus, an actual bus for the school that the teacher actually drove us. I know that a couple field trips that I remember when I was going to school here is I remember going to the back center at the University of Calgary for biology class. I remember the stable of a biology class. I remember seeing I think going somewhere in Kananaskis for something. Don't actually exactly remember what, but I mean, this is just another view of the side facing north of Crescent Heights. As I say, the art class. I remember having some math classes in this part facing this way as well, but this is all new, all gated off. I remember all this being open. Don't remember seeing these maximum height things, but I know around here this is where the automotive class. So I didn't take any automotive classes when I was going here. Might have still been an interesting class to take, but I remember seeing an orientation as well when I was in junior high, about to go to Crescent Heights, from Dr. Egbert, that I remember actually just checking out the automotive class in the tour. But I'm gonna work my way around back to the front and almost close out this part of the video for the Crescent Heights High School. So see you there. Well, I'm back, kind of working my way back towards the front door of the main entrance of Crescent Heights High School. This is the side facing east. I know that I remember this part of the school. I think it was one of the first places I went to in Crescent Heights, because my homeroom was around this area. Back when I was in grade 10, of course, there has to be a truck walking by as I'm walking by, but you know, I'm working my way towards the front entrance of the high school, and you can look it up online that there's some many famous alumni that attended here. I know that Paul Brandt, the country music singer, I remember the artist Tegan and Sarah, the artist, also graduated from here. I know that you can debate if he actually graduated from high school, but former mayor, premier of Alberta, Ralph Klein, well, at least the story was that he started going here to Crescent Heights, but I think eventually he went to Viscount Bennett to get his graduation. But at least he went here. But those are the names that I could think of right away. Of course, yours truly, I'm not as famous, just like vlogging and making content on the go. See, working my way back to the front door of the main entrance. I also do remember the movie Nickelodeon. There was a movie called Snow Day. I think this was back when I was in grade 10 that it was filmed, and yeah, it was around here where that movie was filmed. I'm sure there's a lot of other movies that was filmed used here at Crescent Heights. Definitely has that vintage aesthetics I'm always after, as I'll keep going my way back out here as well. That this is the original part of the building, and this is where I also remember, you know, social studies classes in here as well. English class, I definitely grinded myself in English. I wasn't a strong English student, but speaking of English, and the fact that my parents went here, well, my mother and myself actually, I'll leave the name out, but had the same English teacher. My mother was taught by the same English teacher that I was, except my mother was the star in English 30, where I didn't get the English genes from my mother, but I had to grind it out in English 33. But it's interesting that my mother and I had the same English teacher at one point. You can see that seal right there that says 1985. This is where I remember the science classes are, where I went to science class. I definitely was interested in that, and I'll work my way around. There was some activity here before, but this is the staff parking lot, and it still looks dark and mysterious even today. From 20 years ago, there was too much activity the last time I was walking around here, but I'll still walk my way around. But there's another entrance to the student center, but this area looks very dark and mysterious. I always remember, I mean, it's covered, I mean, it's sheltered for the staff parking for their vehicles, but also work my way around that. You got the, you know, the old main part of school, the student center. This is where the staff parking. There's another door that you can get in and out for the student center, the common area. But right about here, that's where the main gymnasium is. That's where you see all the action and the bleachers that says Crescent and Cowboys. I know that temporarily, when the St. Gymnasium was being renovated in 2004-05, for the time the St. was hosting the Women's Basketball Nationals, this was the St. Trojans' home away from home for their home games. So this is where the gymnasium is. These doors in the main gymnasium. There's a second gymnasium on the second floor in the newer part of the school right here, but this is the gymnasium. And then of course you got this part, where I think this part, based on the architecture, going back to where that blue sea is facing north, or west I should say, this is now facing south. This looks like the original part of the school as well, the original part that was built either in the 1928 or the 1940s. But I remember coming up with this term, where going back to I work in the engineering and planning industry, that Crescent Heights High School has been around for over 100 years in Calgary in its identity. I mean, this building itself, I guess, is almost working towards 100 years. But I remember there was one time in the office, there was a school in Ponoka that I remember, and I remember seeing a key plan when it was helping someone out in the office that had different eras. And I always called it a Franken School, because how much it's been expanded and changed over the years, that you see the mixture of the old and new. And I definitely remember that, you know, with the old main building, especially where the library, the science areas. Obviously, if this is where the gymnasium is, that's not part of the original school. I know there's some other relics where there's like a secret tunnel in the school as well, near where the art area is, where there are a few parts ago there was a bug that was bugging me. But that's all the other parts I remember. I know that 2015, that's when the Crescent Heights had their 100th anniversary, and I didn't actually attend the ceremonies. It was around the time when I do my annual spring vacation, but then things changed when obviously I was busy with real estate matters, because at that time I was getting ready to move. I know my parents went there, but you know, hopefully maybe there'll be another opportunity that I can really walk inside the school like I did 20 years ago. Yeah, wow. It's been 20 years since I went here and graduated from here, and figure it's appropriate to do a vlog back out here, because this is usually the time of year where I have reunions, but that's all been put on hold right now due to COVID-19. It was 10 years ago at this time I had my 10-year high school reunion. And I remember it was at the garage at the Eau Claire Market, and well, it's like on one hand you're still connected to your former classmates from over the years. It's just they're all busy and you know, with their own lives, and it just never seems to be the right time. So anyway, I'll close out and say, if you want to follow along with this Calgary sports fans journey, home of the Flames, Hippin, Roughnecks, and Stampeders, I mostly do talk Calgary sports on my YouTube channel, but I also do personal vlogs, attempt to comedy, and I also do share my experience. Let's say I'm on the road or at a sport event. So if that all sounds like it'd be interesting to watch, to follow along with this Calgary sports fans journey, you know what you need to do. Just make sure you hit like and subscribe. I also have my other social media links down in the description below, and this is another vlog on the go where I had to go back to the old high school and at least capture it from the outside, just like everything else these days, where, I mean, so it's the weekend. I'm not going to be allowed to walk around the school, especially 20 years later, but it is what it is. So I think for this video, this is the high school part, but I think I'll do another vlog along Crescent Heights just to look back on other parts that has changed since I graduated from here 20 years ago. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.